Cool. All right, you guys. So we're on the 13 colonies. This one will be Massachusetts Bay, our second one, or Plymouth colony. What the heck? In the north, all right, in the New England area. Now, this is the founding of America, the Puritans landing at Plymouth Rock. It's so famous, okay? The founding of America. The Puritans are a Christian group, but they're a subgroup. They're not the main group in England. They're coming because they're being persecuted, as we're taught as little kids, and not allowed to practice their religion freely. So they come to America. But partially that's because they burn people at the stake, and the Puritans are very strict. So they came to America. They're on their way to Jamestown, but they get blown off course. So eventually they reach up in the north where it's a little bit colder. All right. They come on the very famous ship, the Mayflower. All right. And we all have to know the Mayflower. All right. This is the boat where they signed the Mayflower Compact, which is our considered the first sign of democracy in America. That's why it's important or significant, because they all agreed to work together. And later you guys are going to actually read it. Okay. It's just one like paragraph. The Pilgrims also are almost dying out until the natives save them, much like in Jamestown. All right. And so we're celebrating Thanksgiving because of that stuff. And this year we will. Look at that. Plymouth right here. Wow. And then Boston, Salem. Okay. And Harvard and all that stuff is in this area, you guys. All right. So these are the Pilgrims and the Puritans. You guys will be watching these videos right here. All right. The Mayflower Compact about democracy, as we said. Pick the best video. Here we are. Here is the primary source transcript. And here are the questions you should be asking yourself. All right. Here we go. Very nice. We'll question on that later. And then the first Thanksgiving. I love these videos. They remind me of elementary school. All right. And watching these things. Ah, the story of Plymouth Rock. Everything summed up just to help remind you. But as you know, what is the true history? And I love some of these videos. Just a second. Oh my gosh. Are you guys like that? Or are you a little? Oh, do we know a little bit more detail? Well, maybe she knows a lot. So Squanto right here is the guy who helped save the pilgrims by showing them how to plant. I loved this little cartoon. Again, reminds me of elementary. But we're moving on to pilgrims, all right? And what you might see like this, little pilgrims come with their families. See the wife and the kids right here. And in the South in Jamestown, you don't really have families. You have single men looking for money and work. But pilgrims in the North, they're coming to have their way of life. And it's a religious way of life. So this man, very famous, the governor, John Winthrop, he wrote a famous speech or a sermon, The City Upon a Hill, where he said he wanted the Puritans to be a city upon a hill, meaning the shining example of what Christians should be in the new world. He wants this to be the best, most Christian society in the world. All right. And this is near Boston. So they form a religious society. Puritans and Puritanism. It comes from John Calvin. And in England, they believed these ideas of predestination, that God already knew if you were going to heaven or hell, and he would tell you about these things, and you were predetermined to go. Well, how would they know who was going where? It's if you acted right in the right way or the wrong way. Okay. So these Puritans want to purify the church, anyone who's bad or evil. And Native Americans to them, because they did not have the monotheistic religions that they had, they thought this is not good. This has got to be some kind of devil's work. So they would fight with them. Look at all these crimes that they considered crimes against God, not just the little society, okay? For violating laws of like being idleness, just doing nothing, hanging out. If you had long hair, duck hunting, cussing, skipping church or falling asleep in church if you were tired, gossiping and spreading rumors is a no-no. Smoking in public, can't be hanging out with natives, or gambling, adultery, of course, cheating on your husband or wife, women preachers, and many other things. Like women preachers was a big deal. So I say, how would they fit in today? I don't know. But if you broke any of these rules, like a woman preacher or had long hair, whips. You could be publicly shamed right here in the gallows. Okay, this is very common in New England, but not so much in the South. All right, this is what we associate with a strict Puritan society. So one such victim was Anne Hutchinson. She was a woman preacher, and she believed that women should be able to preach the gospel. Well, eventually they kicked her out of the society, and she was killed by Native Americans. So this is an example of what we call patriarchy or a patriarchal society, meaning that men had control over women, and they did not believe in women equality in the North. Well, in many regions, but there. Another lady who was a victim of the Puritan anger was the Quaker Mary Dyer. She was killed for being a Quaker. And unfortunately, the next year, they changed the law where you cannot, quote, kill Quakers anymore. All right. So that's unfortunate for her. But in the North, okay, as we saw on the map, the Salem witch trials, this is very close to Boston in 1692, where they were not burning people at the stake like you see here, but actually hanging them and killing them in various ways. I love both. I love all these videos, to tell you the truth, but the first two especially. And oh, it's so creepy. Look at the names of those who have been hanged. And that's what we ask you on this little quiz check. Name these guys. What do the victims have in common? Okay, many people say that they were all women, but looking at this, were they all women? Okay, very interesting. All right. And so you guys go ahead and watch the videos. But this is the second colony, and it's different from Jamestown. This is in the north. Thank you.